Hey, hi Kashish.
Hi Chirag, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm also doing great. Okay, so now let's move towards today's session, which is session ninth. In the previous till the previous session, we have actually discussed about all the basics that are there in Python. Like from the very beginning, we discussed about basics of Python. Then we went to operators, data types. Then we discussed each data type, how we can create variables. We did indexing, slicing, everything. Then we talked about loops. In loops, we talked about for loop, then while loop. We also discussed about special keywords that are there, such as break, continue, and pass. And this is the time, this is the session from which we will start working on some advanced things, such as functions. So, till today, we have discussed various functions such as print, type, id, several functions that we discussed. But those functions are inbuilt in Python. That comes by default with Python when you install it. But from today onwards, suppose there is a function you want to achieve some functionality. Suppose you want to create currency converter. That is not available by default in Python. But you can create your own currency converter and maybe add some currencies to like directly give the output to the user, something like that. So any functionality that you want to create which is not available in Python, so functions can be created. And functions, as you can see, print function we have used like everywhere, like till yesterday's, till the last session. So similarly, the user defined functions that we will be creating, those are also reusable code. We can use these codes anywhere in any program if you want to achieve similar functionality, right? So these functions are really cool, and these functions are actually everywhere, like in SQL also, in Java, in C. I think in every programming language functions are being used. So that's why I especially meant in the WhatsApp group that to specifically attend to today's session, because from this session itself you will get a flavor of how to work on Python, like how to modularize the things. So let's get started without wasting any more time. So user defined functions. Functions are one of the building blocks in Python which enables user to modularize the code. This is the main concept towards like modular programming. So as we have seen, various Python's inbuilt function till now, like these, which perform specific tasks. Like print function basically helps us to print some string or any value to the screen. Then id function tells about the memory address of the variable. Similarly, other functions we have discussed. So we have used these functions a lot of times as per our requirement, which means functions are set of reusable code. Now, what if we want to perform similar task multiple times, but you don't have a function for it? So in this case, we will be creating user defined functions. So these user defined functions, we have to define the function first, because suppose if I'm using type function, which is inbuilt function of Python, so there is a code that is already written in the backend, and then you are just invoking this function, type function, to check the data type of a variable. But there is some code in the backend that is already written for you, which you cannot see as of now. But from now onwards, as we have to create a new function, user defined function, first of all we have to define its code, like what actions or what steps it will follow once we call that function. So so we define the user defined function using def keyword, def. This means function definition. As you see def keyword in any program, you should get an idea that this is the beginning of a function definition. And the same statement should be ended with a colon. So we, when we discussed about conditions, there also we ended these statements with a colon. And then we discussed loops, there also we were ending the statement with the colon. Similarly here, when we are defining a user defined function, we have to end that function definition by colon. Then the subsequent statements should be indented, as in if condition, if else conditions. And similarly, like for and while loop. And here also, for each function, these statements that will run inside this function will be indented. So this is important. Now let's jump into the code and see the things in action. Below we have created a user defined function which is printing a statement. What we are doing, we are creating a function by using def keyword. So this is a function definition. Function definition is starting from here. Then we have to define the function name. So this can be any name, abc, any keyword that you want to give, but I would prefer not give the inbuilt keywords of Python, as I'm reiterating it from the very first session. So you can give any other keyword. Then put these circular brackets. As we were using print function, you can see we use circular brackets. So with functions, you have to use circular brackets only. No other brackets work here. Then you have to use colon, and then the subsequent statements will be executed by the function, which is Python class, once you call it. So what we are trying to do in this function, we are simply trying to print this statement once I call this function. So this is the function definition of function Python class, and this is done. If I run this, you can see there is no error. And now how to call a function, just like we are printing print function, type function with the function name and the square circular brackets or the parenthesis. Similarly, this is my function name. I have to just write it here and use circular brackets, and that is done. And this is known as function call. And suppose I'm writing it twice. Let's execute it first, like one time. Let me comment this. You can see it is printing the basically the, you can say, functionality of the function, which is it has to just print this is a Python class, which it is doing right now. And if I call this function twice, you can see there are two statements now. So this means this function is a reusable code that we can use anywhere, anytime, right? So this is a very basic function. Let's take a step forward. What we have done here, we have inserted a static
Kashish,
value. Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but I guess you're not recording. I actually use your recordings afterwards also in the class.
So right now it is recording. You can
Oh,
recording is in place.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Okay. So now let's take one step ahead. So right now in this example, we have made this value static. This is not dynamic. So to make the functions dynamic, because that is the main purpose, you have to make the functions dynamic. So how to do that? Instead of passing on the string within the function definition, like within this print statement, we will pass the string or any value when we are calling that function. So now I'm creating another function by name of Python class 2, and then this is a function argument. Now you have to understand what is an argument. Suppose I am adding a new cell and I want to, like, a is equal to 10. Then I want to write print type of a. Now let's understand what is an argument. So for type function, so first of all, just remember this, that always the innermost function gets executed first. So in this statement, the type function will be executed first. So let's focus on type function. So type function is being called here, and inside type function in the parenthesis, we can see there is an argument which is a. So a is nothing but a variable, and we are checking the data type of this variable a, and we are basically, this is an argument, right? So somewhere in the backend, it is defined that type will always take an argument. If I don't give any argument to type, let's see the output. You can see the type takes one or three arguments, right? So we have to pass some argument to type function. So it is mandatory. You cannot leave it blank, right? So let's pass a to check the data type of a. So what it will return? It will return result as, let me remove the print function first. So what it is returning? It is returning int. But if I write print and there is a nested function type, so from type A, int is returned, and that int is an argument for the print function. So this is how arguments work, and this is how functions work, like nested functions. First of all, only innermost function will be executed first, then the output of the innermost function will be going to the outermost function. So this is how functions work as an in nested form, and these are the arguments that we are passing. This type of A is a complete argument for a print function. So let's see the output now. Now it is providing the output as class int, because this is how it works in Python. Similarly, I'm going to delete this cell so that it is not making confusion for us. So in this case, what we are defining, there is a function Python class 2 which takes an argument permanently. So in the above function, there is no argument. So it is working without any argument, without, like, you can see there is no value in the parenthesis. It is working without any argument. But here we are making it mandatory, just like type function, that it we should pass an argument, and what we are sending in the argument is the string when we are calling this function Python class 2. So this will go to this function when we call it, and this is a value of this string, and what we are doing, we are printing the string. So basically it will print that this is a Python class. Let's see the output. You can see it has printed it, and similar function we are calling it here, and then we are just changing the value of string. So it takes one argument, that's why we are just passing on one string. If I run this, you can see it has printed my name. But what if I am calling this function without any argument? So for the first function call, it will print the value, which is Kashish. But for the second function call, it will not. It will give an error because we have to pass an argument for it, but we are not passing it. You can see Python class 2 missing one required positional argument, which is string. So now you should get an idea ki, like how type function, print function are defined in the backend of Python, which we are just invoking, and we were kind of getting similar error when we were not passing the arguments to type function, right? So one more thing here. So here I have passed one argument. Here we have not defined any argument. Let's pass two arguments. Suppose I am giving a and comma b. So in this, and let me comment this. Now this also giving us an error because we have just given one argument as a, you can say, input in Python class 2, but here we are giving two arguments as in the function call. So it is saying that it takes only one positional argument, but two were given. So this is also an error. So are these things making sense to everyone? Because this is very basic, that's why I'm taking a little time to explain. And yes, Chirag, you were right. So is this concept clear to everyone, or is there any confusion on it?
Gaurav, one question here.
Sorry, you're not audible. You have very low
Gaurav
voice.
here. Yeah, one question here. This string in bracket means only a string can be passed, or even integers can be stated.
No, no,
Like
this
this
is
is a Python.
no. So this is you can say any name you can give. I can also give a. So it can be anything. So string doesn't mean that we have
Okay.
to pass any string. If even I pass
Achha.
just one, this will work.
Okay.
We have not defined
Understood.
anywhere like we have to pass any integer or string. Any value it can accept.
So then, what is the difference between earlier where we did not mention string or anything, still it had the same output, and with this particular argument, right? This is called
Uh huh.
argument.
Right.
So, with this argument being in place, what is the difference? How it will help us?
It will help us because in the upper program there was no
Hmm.
argument, and we were printing always the single similar statement because it is not
Okay.
dynamic. So every time we will call Python class with no argument, even maybe 10 times, it will print the similar value. You can see.
Okay.
So this is the static value that it is printing, but here we have went one step ahead and printing it dynamically. So in the
Okay.
first
So here,
uh-huh.
okay. I'm just visualizing that here you will ask a user to input. Would you want to enter A, B, C, D? If he enters say B, then the value to the B will get printed. Else the value to A will get printed or C will get printed as the user defines it. Correct? Is that the intention?
So don't first of all don't compare it with the input function, like where we were getting an like this one.
Hmm.
So I'm suppose writing like input, enter your name. So this is the
Or sorry,
function.
I'm rather jumping too much. You can go in your flow, no problem. Else.
No, I think that's fine if we make this thing clear. So with the
Okay.
input function, we get an, like you can say, text box for the user to input any value.
Hmm.
Suppose I'm entering ABC, so it is accepting that in variable A. But this is not the
Hmm.
thing which are there in user-defined functions. So user-defined function
Hmm.
doesn't take the input from the user from the front end, basically from any text box. Rather, we pass any value as a developer itself. ठीक है? User-defined
Okay.
functions mean developer is a user who can define the functions themselves to achieve some certain functionality, right? Maybe in few more
Understood.
examples this will be much clearer, but right now I was just explaining that
Okay.
the first function we have not defined any argument, that's why it was static. And in the second example, we have defined one argument. So if we are giving one argument as string, it can be like any name. This is not like you have to pass on any string. It can be A itself and just print A. This will also work. So what we are doing, so this is the function definition. Don't compare it with this. You can take this in a different cell. So this is the function definition. This is done. So now this function has been recorded in the kernel, I mean Python memory, that whenever you call this function, just like type function, print function, whenever you call this function, you have to define, you have to give the argument value. How many arguments it takes? Only one, which is A. So you have to define, you have to give any argument value such as ABC. I want to print ABC. So once I call this function, so it is going to this function definition. So this is the argument that it has seen for value A. And what it is doing, it is just printing the value of A, which is ABC. That's it. But the challenge here is, if I give two values here, because the argument is only one. To define multiple arguments, that is a different case. But right now we just have one argument, which is A. But here we have given two values by separated by comma. So this will not work. It will assume that value A will go to this variable A, but there is no argument to accept value B. So that's why it has thrown error. Let me run it again. You can see Python class takes only one position argument, which is A, but two were given. We have given two arguments. So this is wrong. We cannot do things like this. And here also, since there was one argument, if you see the middle, you can say value, the function call, we haven't passed any argument. So you have to exactly give the values that are defined in the function. If there are two arguments defined in the function, you have to give two values. If there are 10 arguments defined in the function, you have to pass on 10 values during the function call. So is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay,
Clear. Thank you.
sure. Let's move ahead and let's take an example with multiple arguments now. So now what we are doing, we are checking the bio of some person where we will pass on multiple arguments. So we are taking now three arguments. One is name, then age, then gender. You can name it anything. So these arguments are as per your choice. You can change it to first name. You can change it to maybe person age. You can maybe change it to person gender, something like that. You can give any keyword in the for the function argument name. And then what we are trying to achieve when we call bio function, we are printing the values of it. How? We are making it as name colon, and then in curly braces we are calling this name value. Then slash n means move the pointer to the next line, and then we are printing age colon, then the value of this age under the curly braces. Since we know f string takes the variable value under the curly braces, and rest all are the static text that it prints. And then for gender also, we are printing the gender value like this under the curly braces. And finally, this is the function definition. And when we are calling it, we are calling this function name, and then it takes three arguments. That's why we have given three values, like first name is Nayan, age is 15, and gender is female. Now if I run this, you can see it has printed it correctly. But now if I take some different values, add a new cell, if I maybe print and suppose age is same, and which is not, so I'm printing it M. So now you can see it has printed these values. So this is now dynamic. Whatever values you give in the bio arguments, that will be printed as per the function definition. So the idea here is the arguments, there are three arguments that are defined in the function definition. Only those much values for those arguments should be given in the function call. This is the simple idea behind user-defined functions, or even any functions in Python, right? So is this example clear where we have taken multiple arguments as in the function definition?
Yes.
Great. Now, as we can see in above example, we entered three arguments. I'm sorry. Okay. we have entered 3 arguments which are actually known as positional arguments, or in Python we also call arguments as parameters. So this is just the similar word that you can say. Later we will learn what are keyword arguments. Right now, again, let's check one more thing, that this function bio function takes 3 arguments, right? But even when I pass 2 values, suppose I'm passing name and then I'm passing age, but I'm skipping gender, can anyone tell me will it work or not? In this example, suppose I'm just passing name and age but not passing gender, will it work or not?
It
No, it
should
won't.
work.
It will not work because there are 3 arguments in the function: name, age and gender. So we have to give the values of each of them, otherwise it will give an error. So here
What
we
if I just do
are,
with a comma, just a comma and then a blank?
then it will work. Like if I pass it like this, then it will work. But we are not even giving comma in this case.
Mm-hmm.
So here it will give the error that bio missing one required positional argument, which is gender, because it is assuming that the first value name, it is going to name, second value 15 is going to age, and finally it has not found any value for gender. That's why it has thrown an error like this, that it is not able to find the, where it is, yeah, so it is not able to find the required positional argument, which is gender. So that's why we have received the error. Now we have to understand, so this is important, what is positional argument and what are keyword arguments in Python. Although I explained this like I think 5 sessions ago, where we discussed the format function to format the print statement, but let me reiterate the concept because this is important throughout this user defined functions, and from today this positional and keyword arguments will not leave you, because this is important to understand. So let's understand, let's focus here, what are keyword arguments and what are positional. But first of all, let's understand what are positional. So here I am passing name, age and gender. So function has specific positions for the arguments. So name is coming at 0th position, because everything in Python starts from 0, 0th index you can say. So this is at 0th index, this is at first index, and this is at second index. But when we are calling it, it has received the value name at first 0th index. For gender, it will auto assume that the value for age will be given at first index, and it will auto assume that for gender it will always, the value for gender will always be at second index. But let's see how it will work if we jumble these values. Maybe I can add new cell. If we jumble these values, maybe give 15 first and then name, and finally 15 f then comma name. So we have jumbled the values, like first of all we are giving age, then we are giving gender, and finally we are giving name. This will work, this will not give any error, because we have passed 3 arguments and function also require 3 arguments. So this will work. Let's see the output. You can see name is 15, age is f, but gender is name. Is it correct? Of course it's not. So because these are positional arguments, it has auto assumed that every time when we are doing a function call, the name will always come at 0th index, age will always come at first index, gender will always come at second index, irrespective of like if you pass on any value, it will not see that. It will just accept the values at this specific position as per the function definition. So this is the kind of positional arguments, because these arguments follow a position: 0th position, first position and second position. If we jumble the values and just pass on 3 arguments, it will accept the values but pass on undesired results. So is this concept clear of positional arguments?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So keyword argument would envisage 0, 1, 2 kind of scenario. What we earlier
Uh,
learned.
0, 1, 2 are kind of positional arguments. Keyword arguments, that will come very soon. We can, after some examples. But right now
Okay,
we should
okay, okay.
be clear about positional arguments. So now this error makes sense to me because bio takes only positional arguments in this case, right? What we have defined here. So these all are the positional arguments. That's why it is saying that bio missing one required positional argument, which is gender. So this error now makes sense to me. Now moving further, let's see how to create a currency converter. Or I think before that, we should rejoin the session because only 5 minutes are left and it would be in between. So let's quickly rejoin and continue.
Okay.